welcome to another unboxing video from theplayersaid.com. My name's Alexander, and today we're taking a look at a brand new game from Multiman Publishing called Arracourt. And this is, or Arracourt, this is part of the Battalion Combat Series, or BCS. This particular game is designed by Carl Fung. The system and the series, and a developer for this is Dean Essig, who's done a lot of the other things that you might be familiar with from MMP, OCS, design this BCS series, SCS, things like that. So this is what is touted as being an introductory BCS game. And part of why that is that it is one map and relatively low counter densities. So I'm very interested to dive into this, partly because never played BCS before. So I do want to get this as a primer and to jump into a new system to see if what all the buzz is about, because this has a lot of buzz around it. But also because I do also have another BCS title that I've had on my shelf for nearly a year. I have Brazen Chariots, which is like 4 maps. It's a much bigger, big North Africa game, but this is kind of perfect timing. Also a very different setting, it being kind of a West Front game. But wanted to just kind of use this opportunity to dive into those rules, and then later on we'll tackle something a little bit larger with BCS. So there is a lot of difference to this system, though, with how everything works. So we're going to dive into the box and kind of see what we've got here. So again, this will be a 2-player hex encounter war game just right off the bat. So a little bit of a kind of a contents in the box. 2d6, very common that you would expect from MMP, a white die and a red die. So now we've got these is the Battalion Combat Series Arracourt rules. I think we have series rules in here? Yes, we do. Okay, so let's just fish those out real quick. So this is the 2.0 series rules, and these are a semi-gloss, full-color, and frankly, very large rule book. There is a lot of diagrams, there is a lot of examples, but, all told, before we get to the index and the little examples of play there, glossary, so rules, this is 35 pages of rules. No, it's not a book for the faint of heart, but partly this rulebook is so big because it does things a little bit differently from some of your kind of other standard games that you may have played. I believe in this one, kind of similar to OCS, the counters are dual-sided, but it's not a reduced side. I think it's like a move side to fire side. I think. I could be wrong about that. So that's the series rules. And again, this is the latest edition, 2.0. This is the latest game in the series. This is the most up-to-date rules that you can get in print without printing your own if there's living rules. So, this, in theory, you can use these rules with any of your other BCS games if you want. And then we've got the Arracourt game-specific rules, which are only, those are scenarios. So really it's, at best, minus all the pictures, that's 2 pages of rules, right? And then the rest of this, we've got a bunch of different scenarios that you can do. And then we've got some just different bits and pieces at the end from the designer with historical notes, and an OOB, and then we've got a little terrain effects chart. Hopefully that's on the play aid, so we don't have to photocopy that. That'd be great. On the back here, we've got some capabilities charts and bits and pieces as well. So hopefully that's all included in our charts and tables here. So, all right. So we have here a bifold. This has got kind of everything on it. Combat table modifiers, combat table itself, engagement tables, snafu table modifiers, a snafu table, we all love that. Then we have, those are done kind of opposite directions. Stopped finish charts, normal activations, attack sequence, little sequence of play, so hopefully that's nice and helpful too. So there's one of those, that's color card. We have the singular sheet of counters, which is very nice. These are, I'm 100% positive that these are much bigger than the ones in BCS. Brazen Chariots. Because Brazen Chariots is a massive game with a lot of counters. I remember them being much smaller. These are the much larger size counters, but they are printed very clear and very bold. And on the back sides of these, okay, I want to make sure before I'm pretty sure 3, 5, 2, 14. I'm pretty sure the way this works is that there's like a movement side of things, and then there's like a deployed combat side of things. I'm happy to be wrong about that. I swear, I've like briefly nosed in some of the rules of Brazen Chariots, but I don't remember specifically. But that's all it is. A bunch of Germans, a bunch of Allied forces. Then we have here a turn record track. So you've got all the days the battle took place in, weather chart, terrain key. We don't have the terrain effects. That is on here, and I didn't see it on the play aid. So we are going to do some photocopying. Hopefully someone's got some good charts out there on BGG that we can print as well. Replacement points for both sides, and that single-sided, we're going to have that under our plexi map. Okay, the other... okay. So we do have some bits and pieces in here that we'll get to. So we'll take a look at the map here in a bit. There is a second sheet of counters that was separated from these ones. These are the strength point modifiers. Very much like some of the ACW regimental series games, and even a similar kind of concept to some of the other, even GBOH, where you have those numerical markers under them for cohesion loss. These are the ones that you can turn around, and they're dual-sided. Those are going to go underneath your units for, I believe, combat strength modifiers as they take damage, things like that. So some fatigue markers. This is just a sheet of admin markers. So 2 sheets of counters. So we do have another seemingly identical... Yes, I believe this is an identical play-aid card to this one. So we've got 2 of those, which is nice. And then we have, I think the last thing in the box is the 2.0 series support book. Which, is this a playbook kind of style? This is like an intro and like how to, like a primer for the game, it looks like. BCS rules. Read this first. And again, because the unit notations and how things work in this is different from your other games, I guess we'll just be kind of reading this of how to approach this game, not bringing any preconceived ideas to it, hopefully. So there's a lot of stuff here. This is a meaty game to dive into. Now I've kind of nosed through that. I hope that's going to be very helpful. So the last thing we're going to take a look at is the map. And if you've played any multi-man publishing games, this style of map will be very familiar to you. I believe we're going to play on it this way. That's the way that the names are listed anyway. So it might be one of these kind of portrait style vertical maps. But either way, if your table allows you to play this way, then you're just going to go from kind of one end to the other. But basically, this is an extremely functional, very bold, clearly printed map. And I say that because I've played a number of multi-man publishing games, and some of them are very big and grand, and they use much smaller hex sizes and smaller font sizes because of the nature of this game. This is big units, big hexes. What that means is the game itself is actually quite small. You don't have a trillion hexes through which you've got to maneuver and stuff. This is a fairly tight game by the looks of it, but I, for one, am very interested and excited to play this. Glad this finally showed up. This was on pre-order I think we did a pre-order for like almost 4 or 5 months ago, 6 months ago now. But I had been looking forward to this. Looking forward to learning a new system here in 2022, even though the system itself is not new. But it'll be new for us to learn this, new title in the system, and then that'll also serve us going into other games in the system as well. Which, there's a couple of videos out there on this, some of which are very helpful, but I'm hoping that kind of primer guide and then diving into this will be easy enough to do now that we're on like 2.0 versions of the rules, and it's kind of gone through some kind of tidying up and work. So I'm very interested to play this one. So this is Arracourt, part of the BCS series from MMP. If you're interested, check it out. Appreciate you tuning in. I've been Alexander from thePlayersaid.com.